So this slide shows you in a nutshell how market orientation works. So as we go from top to bottom, we have intelligence generation about customers, about competitors, about collaborators, such as about the government, especially if you're entering an emerging market. We need to be aware of, we need to collect information about the government, the local government, the federal government, what the regulations are, what the laws are for that particular local market. So that's about intelligence generation. And then once the intelligence, the information has been generated, that has to be disseminated through interfunctional coordination. And then organization would respond by producing better output into the market through products, through better pricing, competitive pricing, through more convenient channels, distributions, through place, and then through better promotions, through better marketing communications, advertising that people can relate to, and so forth. Okay, so now this slide shows you what we call the market orientation scorecard, and it's a scorecard in the sense that this enables companies to measure market orientation, because talking about market orientation is one thing, but measuring it is another. These ideas need to be measured so that companies can track this. They can improve on this. They can see how their score stacks up against, competitors within the same industry. They can use this for benchmarking. They can see how their market orientation score changes over time. So for various purposes, measuring market orientation can be a very fruitful task. So what I have here is we have certain questions that tap into the three elements of market orientation from a behavioral perspective. And then once you add up all the scores, you can compare that score against the cutoff levels that I've identified to see if your company's market orientation score is on the low end, whether it's at a moderate level, or it scores on the higher end. So let's just go over some of these questions that capture the three elements of market orientation. So starting with assessment of market intelligence generation, we don't need to go over all of these questions, but just to give you a feel of what some of these items, these questions are about, let's take a look at the first one. So the first one reads as, we have interdepartmental meetings at least once a quarter to discuss market trends and developments. Right? Or we are quick to detect fundamental shifts in our industry, such as competition, technology, regulation, about customers, and so forth. Or we are fast to detect changes in our customers' product preferences. So how are customers' preferences changing? And a company that's able to figure that out quickly is obviously at a competitive advantage. So it's important to assess these and collect these information for an organization to better understand the market. Some other questions that tap into this market intelligence generation element would be looking at the third item. We survey end users and customers at least once a year to assess the quality of our products and services. So again, using surveys or whatever market research methodology it may be to get a better feel of where customers stand, and just to get a better understanding and feel for how the market is evolving is a critical aspect of this market intelligence generation. So once you add up all the scores, and these scores range from 1 through 5, where 1 would be strongly disagree and 5 would be strongly agree. So once you add up all the scores for this first element, market intelligence generation, if you compare that, against those cutoff levels, again, you can rate your score on this element that ranges from low to high. Moving on to assessment of market intelligence dissemination, some of the items that would capture this dissemination aspect of market orientation would be something along the lines of when something important happens to a major customer or market, the whole business, the whole organization knows about it in a very short period of time. That means that intelligence that's been generated is dispersed, it's communicated, and it's shared throughout the organization in a very quick manner. Or the second question, which reads, when one department finds out something important about competitors, it is quick to alert other departments. So again, this reflects how information is shared and disseminated and communicated throughout the organization, and it is not held just by one particular department. In this case, most likely it would be the marketing department or the sales department, because they may claim ownership of such information. Rather than claiming ownership, everybody shares this and is on top of such information. So again, you would add all the scores up, and then you would arrive at a total score for this intelligence dissemination element, which again could range from low to high. Moving on to the third element of market orientation, which is the responsiveness element. The first item reads, it takes very little time to decide how to respond to our competitors' price changes, or we are able to implement new ideas, such as marketing plans or product design, in a very timely fashion. So again, these items reflect and capture how responsiveness an organization is once the information is generated and once that information is disseminated, and so forth. So again, if you add up all the items here, you can compare it to that cutoff where it would range from low to high.